Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IS English channel. Just give me a minute. So my name is Shubham Sagar and today we will do Hindu analysis of 12th June 2025, right? So let's start without wasting any time. The procedure is same, the things which we do every day, the same, but yes, you will see an improved version of me every day when it comes to Hindu analysis because, it's fun actually. So yes, let's start the discussion with the first article of the day. That is on page 8, bad blood. India and Canada must use every opportunity to reset ties. Just give me a second. Good morning, Kartika. So here's, if we see this particular article related to India, Canada, and again, if you don't know what has happened between India and Canada, I think some of you may know about it, how our relationship has nosedived in the recent years because of. Good morning, Rishi. Good morning, Kartika. Ankit has written something DCC 3G. I don't understand what that is. So let's talk about the things. So India-Canada relationship dive because of common fulcrum point, that is Khalistan, and they accused us of something. In fact, their Canadian police even involved Amit Shah sir in that. So again, we will talk about it. We'll talk about so many different things related to this event. So what has happened? G7 meeting is happening. A summit is happening in Canada, and they have invited our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Now, there are certain keywords which we have to understand from exam perspective. One particular keyword is G7 countries. And what is the mnemonic? Good morning, Priya. What is the mnemonic to remember G7 countries? So, I think you may know it, you may not know it. The mnemonic is JUICE GF. JUICE GF, Japan, US. This is not India, this is Italy, Canada, then England, Germany, France. If you look at continent-wise, there are two G7 countries, 2 in North America, 4 in Europe, and one particular country is in Asia. So do remember this particular mnemonic, that is JUICE GF, that will help you. And then we will talk about, this is JUICE GF because how much water will you drink? There is a limit to you drinking water. JUICE GF. So, and this is again one particular thing which we have discussed, G7. Now we have to talk about India-Canada relationship. It has nosedived in the recent month, but it was not always this, like this bad actually. There were good things, there were silver linings. As a UPSC aspirant, we should know both the positive and the negative things. Cool, sir. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi, sir, he will visit after 10 years. So this is actually a long period. And again, invitation has been given, and again there was something which was going on in the back channel that doesn't concern us, but we should know about it. Remember this particular mnemonic, that is JUICE GF. USA, Canada, UK, Germany, France, Italy, Japan, as stated by Rishi. Cool, sir. Now this is the point which we were discussing. There was a person, Hardeep Singh Nizar, he was killed, and then Justin Trudeau, who was the PM at that point of time, he accused India. And not only that, see this term here, RCMP. Even if you don't know the full form, just remember this is Canadian police. And this Canadian police, they said that they linked Home Minister Amit Shah sir to the case. So how do you expect the relationship improving if you are linking our Home Minister sir in this whole scenario? So that's why, and there were other reasons also, relationship nosedive. You can see what happened after that. They paused free trade agreement talks. We halted visa services. So this is quid pro quo. You are doing something, we are doing something in return. And then there is another thing which we have to discuss, and okay, we'll go there. Strong diaspora links. Over 1.86 million people of Indian origin live in Canada. 1 million is 10 lakh. So when we are talking about 1.86 million, that is around 18 lakh, more than 18 lakh people of Indian origin, they are living in Canada. And okay, we'll go. And again, there is one thing which I want to ask you people. There were some people who were advising me that don't take Hindu editorials when we are, just basic discussion. It's not a. So what do you think? Should I include Hindu editorials in these discussions or not? Or do you think, no, I should exclude Hindu editorials? I just told that particular person that if we are not discussing Hindu editorials in Hindu, and if we are not discussing explained portion in Indian Express, in a way, we are cheating with our profession. I personally feel if I'm analyzing Hindu, if I'm doing Hindu analysis, then first and foremost, I have to look at the editorials, and then I have to look at other news also. So what is your view? People who are there, you are watching me, you can post it in the comment section. And do you think we should, and we should cover Hindu editorials, or should I exclude it? Again, totally your call. If you feel like we should exclude it. This is again one editorial. We'll talk about some non-editorial portion also. Hindu editorials are helpful, sir. Very good, Shahida. So that is what I also personally feel. Hindu editorials, I explained, they're very, very important. Cool, sir. So 1.86 million people, see I'm playing cricket here. So around 18 lakh. And then let's talk about some silver lining. Canadian Pension Fund, they have invested a lot of money in India's infrastructure. So these are some good things, silver linings. Plus, I think in the previous lecture, we have talked about diaspora. Good morning, Shashmita. In the previous lecture, we have talked about diaspora, how the diaspora of North America gives us political stability, and that includes the diaspora of Canada also. Some of the Home Minister, Defense Minister of Canada have been people of Indian origin, and that in a way strengthens India-Canada relationship rather. So again, you can see here the author is talking, the author of this editorial, he's saying that things must be handled with care. Modi sir is going after 10 years. And he will talk about this Khalistan issue and all those things, but there has to be a little bit of sensitivity which should be involved when they are having these talks. And they should restore high commissioners and diplomatic staff. That is the first process in normalizing India-Canada relationship. Cool, sir. Now, if we talk about the historical background, this diplomatic relationship established as soon, oh my God, as soon as we got independence. Hindu editorial should be included. Hindu editorial is must, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Munesh. And that's what I also feel, that if I don't include Hindu editorials in Hindu analysis, I am doing cheating with my work, and I can never do that. So diplomatic relationship established in 1947. Remember this particular year, this is important. And you can see the areas of cooperation. That's fine. You can use these areas of cooperation anywhere and everywhere, but there are certain key things which you cannot forget, as we have just discussed. Canadian Pension Fund, they are investing a lot in India's infrastructure. Cool, sir. What else? And again, Canada, oh my God. Canada is a significant source of energy and natural resource for India, especially uranium. And then thorium we already have, because we have monazite sand along the coast of Kerala. Uranium, we are getting it from Canada. Indian companies have invested in Canadian tech mining, and this is what I was talking continuously. Canadian pension funds have major stakes in India's infrastructure. Remember this particular point. This is very important from exam perspective, because it's not like only like from pre-perspective G7 countries, they are mnemonic. From mains perspective, the good and bad things about India-Canada relationship. Why? Because you have to do GS mains paper 2. People-to-people ties, we have talked about this. This is a data which is coming again. This is an additional fact that 5% of Canadian population belongs to people of Indian origin, and that is around 18 lakh, more than 18 lakh. Largest source of international student in Canada. And then this community, again, you can read this thing. So there are certain data which you have to keep in mind. Pension fund, total population, how much percentage they are contributing, then uranium, all these are common funds. Common things, fulcrums which you have to keep in mind. Good morning, Ramesh. Good morning, Munesh. Cool. So challenges, Khalistan issue, we are talking about it, mutual mistrust post 2023, political posturing. And then the opportunities are, again, you can talk about how we can leverage Canadian pension fund, how we need Canada for mineral resources, all these things, shared interest in climate change, Indo-Pacific security, deep diaspora. Just read it, I'm not reading it. We have done the discussion. Let's solve MCQ 1 based on what we have read up until now. Priya, please include, sir. Okay. So the question is, consider the following countries: Germany, Australia, Canada, Italy, India. Which of the above are members of G7? Just remember the mnemonic which we have discussed. Based on that, you can answer this particular question. Okay, 10 more seconds. Anyone, if any of you answers it, I will move on. So let's again recap the mnemonic which was there. The mnemonic was juice GF, right? Juice GF. That if you have a GF, if you have a girlfriend, Kartika has given the answer, you should give her juice, because, you know, don't be too conjuice, don't just give her water. So juice GF, Japan, USA, Italy, Canada, England, Germany and France. India is not a member, so just eliminate 5 and you get the answer. Even if you don't know anything, you know the fact that India is not a member of G7. You can solve this question. So Kartika, Shayada, Mamta, Ramesh, all of you have given the answer. The answer is A, 1, 3 and 4 only. Cool, sir. Let's talk about the second article of the day. Awesome article. You may have heard about caste census, and you may have read about all of these, like caste census will be carried out in census 2027, and this is the first time caste census will be carried out at a national level after census 1931, if we are not wrong. Then there are certain people who believes that caste census in a way will propagate casteism. This is not good. This particular article, this is an explainer on page number 10. This is giving you a new perspective actually. They are saying that this whole caste census which will be happening, it is actually very good, because right now what is the approach of government when it comes to dealing with different caste and reservation? That is a top-down approach. But now when we have this caste census, we'll move on to social management approach. Now what is the basic meaning of social management approach? We'll go there. But again, the author is saying, since the last caste census happened in 1931, we don't have enough information about caste, proper information about caste. So when you have this proper information, rather than it's all speculative, when you're giving reservation, when you're providing this and that, it's all speculative. And this is all top down. Whatever the people at the top they are thinking, that will be implemented in the downward, model of governance. But when you have a proper idea, information, how much OBC is there, EBC is there, how much percentage SC, ST population are there, then this will be social management approach. You are not doing things on speculative basis. You have a data, and that data is helping you in doing or taking progressive measures. So this is actually Caste Systems Act 1948-90, Caste Census Act 1948. Cool. So what we are trying to say here is this caste census data, and let's talk about this whole thing. They are saying this is a welcome measure. This should happen because now we will get a proper data related to different castes. Cool, sir. So Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs, you can see here, caste enumeration will be happening in the upcoming census 2027. Now, this is a portion which is important from exam perspective, be it any exam, UPSC or other exams. There are so many questions hidden here in this line. They can ask you census is a union subject, state subject, concurrent subject. They can even ask you it lies under which particular article. They can even ask you it lies under which particular schedule. So remember, this one line contains many questions. Rationale beyond binary debates. Binary debate is whether will be like the political parties. There's another point or rationale of this caste census. One thing we have discussed, that from top-down model, government will move down to social management approach, where they will have proper information about different caste and they can take measures accordingly. The other point is, the binary debate is, they can also use this. They feel like in a particular locality, 40% this particular caste belong, so they will do stuff which will appease that particular caste. So that is the binary debate, for or against. It should be understand, and author is saying that we should go beyond that and we should think it as a tool for social management. Now, this is actually an awesome article. They have given different survey. Like in Bihar, this happened. And see, before you think of me as pro this and that, I am a Brahmin, I am from upper caste. Ideally, I should not like this, but I don't believe in this caste system, etc. I'm just giving you a neutral perspective, what this article is saying. So in Bihar, this survey happened, and see, 63% of the population of Bihar is OBC or EBC, economically backward caste, so and OBCs. EBC alone, and then SCs, STs, general categories only 15%. 34% of the family earn less than 200 per day. What this data of Bihar as well as Telangana is telling you, once the government of Bihar and Telangana, they have these particular data, they can focus on SC community, ST community. Why only 34% of the family, or why 34% of the family, which is actually a big number, they're earning less than 200 per day? What is the reason behind it? So they can focus on the root cause of these issues. And OBC and EBC, 63% of the population, they have to cater to this population also. The downside is they can also use it as a political tool, which should not be done. So I'm giving you more detail, Prateek. Have a look at this data. So author is saying that since, if you see the survey, the caste census which happened in Bihar, which happened in Telangana, what is happening because of this? They are giving us more information. I will give you another information. There was one organization, like how many of you believe in the reservation system, positive affirmation? Do you believe in it, or do you think it undermines meritocracy? This is a very big debate which happens, and there is a very high probability that you will be asked this particular question in the interview as well. So what we are trying to discuss here is, there was one organization, its name was Safai Karmchari Andolan. Now Safai Karmchari Andolan, they believe that there are many people among us who believe that caste system is bad, means reservation is bad, it should be totally done away with. There's no yes or no answer to this. I am not saying I support it, I do not support it. I'm just giving you points. So Safai Karmchari Andolan, they did a survey related to manual scavenging. Manual scavengers are those people who work inside drain, who's like you do your potty, it goes to sewage, and the people who clean these sewage and etc., they are the manual scavenger. Although manual scavenging has been banned by government, but still goes on. And Safai Karmchari Andolan, when they researched like maximum percentage of population who are doing these works, manual scavenging work, they belong to which category? It came SC category. None of the so-called Brahmin like us are working as, manual scavengers. So when you talk about reservation from social criteria, it makes a sense. Historical injustice has been done to different categories. There is an author, you will read about him when you are reading history, Fahiyan. He visited India during the period of Chandragupta II. He said that there were different groups, Doma, Chandalas, Badhataus. When they used to enter into city, they have to strike a wood on the gate, and then the people will disperse so that nobody touches them. So it's a segregation. It's like they have been discriminated a lot socially. So reservation to a certain extent is good. But then there are other arguments also that it is undermining meritocracy. Then there is another argument also that if you are giving reservation, give it for 2-3 hierarchies. Let's say my family benefited from it, my son benefited from it, grandson. After that, if I feel like, I can give away my reservation system. So that should be the norm. But let's see how much it is getting implemented. Coming back to the caste census of Bihar and Telangana, the author is saying that we are getting benefited a lot by these data. They will help us in focusing directly on the issues because we have exact data related to different castes. Unless and until racism exists, reservation should be there. Very good, Shashmita. That is the view of Shashmita or Shashmita. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So now underrepresentation in institution. Then there is another organization, and there is related to Safai Karmchari Andolan. There was one UPSC PYQ, remember it, Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan, which is related to abolishing manual scavenging. It is going on. It should not go on. But the problem is, it goes on. Government know about, like, they have an idea about it, but they are still not controlling it because we don't have that many automated robots, etc., who can take care of the manual scavenging thing. So yes, it's a sad reality, and it's a sad reality that SC constitute maximum portion of means manual scavengers. Okay, sir. Then there was another committee which was known as Sachar Committee. Sachar Committee said that the condition of Muslims in India is worse than SC STs. If you see this particular Telangana data, 10% BC Muslims are there in this whole caste survey. What I'm trying to tell you, I'm not telling you that Sachar Committee recommendation is good or bad, this and that. I'm just giving you figure. And via these figures, government can focus on different castes. OBCs, only 4% professors, 6% associate professors. As I think Pratik was telling, give more details and data. These are the data which you can see here. How, why, sometimes when we talk about reservation, we have to substantiate it with facts, and these are the facts why reservation is given. But then there are other criteria also. Should reservation be given on social basis only, or economic criteria should also be the norm? What is your view on that? Shashmita, Pratik, Dilpreet, Rishi, Shivkumar, Ramesh, Kartika, Mamta, Saida and others. What is your view? Should reservation, positive affirmation, be given on social criteria or economic criteria is also fine? Like we have EWS section, economically weaker section, who are being given reservation, positive affirmation. Many people support it. Many people feel that you cannot give reservation on economic criteria because it's a very transient criteria. Transient means today it is there. I am, poor today, but maybe 10 days after, if I get a good job, 20 days after, 2 months after, I may not be poor. So the point is, economic criteria is a very transient criteria, very temporary criteria. Social discrimination has happened with me and my family for 200 years. But economic, inequality can go away in an instant, in a jiffy also. So many people believe economically or economic, the reservation based on economic criteria is not a good way forward. So And Mamta is saying that economic criteria includes there will be no discrimination. Hope you are understanding where we are going with this. Social discrimination, long process. Economic discrimination, economic inequality is a transient phenomena. You are poor today, you may not be poor tomorrow. So that is one point which people give or argue. A holistic approach should be taken into consideration according to me looking into the specific school. So now we have talked about all these things. Data deficiency, no full caste census since 1931. That's what we were discussing. And 2011 socio-economic caste census was done, flawed it was, so they did not release it. So without updated data, you are talking about reservation, this and that. How is different government giving reservation when they do not even have updated data? Are they giving all these reservation based on 1931 caste data? So the point is, this author is saying we need this caste census at the earliest. We need this particular data at the earliest. Now, social management approach. There are some keywords which you have to understand from exam perspective. Moves away from top-down welfare to data-driven need-based intervention. What is the meaning here? Earlier, we have discussed this. Because we do not have enough data about caste, because the caste census happened last in 1931. So it's all top-down. It's all decided by people at the upper hierarchy. Now this all will be social management, means it's not all decided at the top. It's all decided by the data. Data will decide which particular caste should get how much benefit, etc., etc. Treat caste as a development variable. It's not a stigma. Many people feel like when you are saying OBC, EBC, this and that, you are expanding or propagating stigma. No, it's just to know the society. Our society is divided into different hierarchies. What are those divisions? How can we remove those divisions? For removing those divisions, we should at least know about these divisions. And caste census is a way forward in that regard. Cool, sir? So again, you can read all these things. Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, they're already using such data, and not only confined to India. They have this particular article, they have given data of different countries like US, South Africa, Brazil. They collect identity-based data to combat discrimination. When they give you question, should caste census be done in India or not? There will be 2 points. It should be done, it should not be done. It should be done. These points you will be writing. Why it should be done in India. It's not like we are the only one who will be doing it. We need caste census if you want to provide caste-based reservation. And we are not the only one. Other countries are also doing it. Cool, sir? So again, potential impact of a national caste census. That is what they are saying. Monitoring of scheme, diversity audits, disaggregated budgeting based on caste inequities. So which caste is how much percentage, how much they are discriminated, accordingly budget will be allocated. Caste census doesn't create casteism, it exposes and quantifies it according to the author of this article. So what is your view? This can be a conclusion when you are writing about caste census, the intro, body and the conclusion part. In the cons of caste census, you can talk about it, how political party can use it as a tool. In the pros, we can talk about it, how we need data if you want to provide positive affirmation, if you want to cater to different sections of society. So do you agree with this particular conclusion that caste census doesn't create casteism, it exposes and quantifies it? It's like if you don't have caste census, we just don't want to know about how much percentage OBCs are there, EBCs are there, BC Muslims are there. We just don't want to know. We are like, no, we don't want to know. We know there is division in our society. We just don't want to know the numbers of those divisions. So again, in a way, this caste census will tell you how much percentage of OBC, EBC, etc. are there. Cool. So, but sir, caste census create casteism. How, Mamta? The author is saying you can feel that way, that caste census, when we are having it, we are dividing society further. The author is saying that society is already divided. It's just that caste census will tell you the data. Again, that's totally fine. You can agree to disagree with the author of this article. But the author is saying that the society is already divided. Caste census will at least give you an idea how much division is there. And then you can work towards it to remove or minimize this division as much as possible. So again, you can talk about this: enhanced democratic accountability, empower citizen, can reveal intra-caste inequality and benefit capture. Cool, sir. Broader social justice agenda, social emancipation. Again, they have written all the things which we have just discussed. Justice for oppressed groups. You can know about the data and you can know about their numbers. Conclusion: a well-executed caste census could drive data-based, equitable governance and transform Indian democracy according to the author of this article. Only politician. Okay, Rishi. Safai Karmchari Andolan, Sachar Committee, we have talked about it, what they were saying about different things. Now let's solve PYQ 2, which was asked in UPSC 2016. So Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan, there was a, like when I was small, there was a girl who used to study in our school, Garima Mishra. So Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan. So many people get confused with that Garima. Sometimes people are like, Garima is a Hindi word. Why they're using it in this question? But yes, that's how sometimes schemes are named. So Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan is a national campaign to rehabilitate the homeless and destitute person and provide them with suitable sources of livelihood, release the sex workers from their practice and provide them. Oh my God, so many people have already answered it. Shashmita, Kartika, cool. And Rishi has also. So Garima is, restoring the dignity of people. So eradicate the practice of manual scavenging and rehabilitate the manual scavengers. Remember this is also very important, all the things which we have discussed, caste census. GS2 schemes related to vulnerable sections of society. That is there in your GS2 main syllabus. So all those points you have to keep it in mind from, exam perspective. Now let's solve this question. With reference to idea of social management approach in policy making, consider the following features. Social management approach, which we were discussing, what does it do? Very good, Shashmita, Kartika and Rishi. It promotes top-down uniform welfare scheme. Second, it uses caste data to design targeted and equitable development interventions. Third, it treats caste as a stigma that must be ignored for social harmony. Okay. So Shashmita has given the answer, Kartika has given the answer, Rishi has given the answer. So social management approach is the exact opposite of top-down approach. Social management approach is telling that once we get the data, caste-related data, we will not be relying on the top hierarchy, we will be relying on the data which we are getting from the caste census. So this is not the aim. It promotes top-down uniform welfare scheme. No, it does not promote top-down. It promotes data-driven approach, social management approach. So first is wrong. If first is wrong, you can eliminate A and C, you're left with B and D. Now you just need to check for third one. It treats caste as a stigma. It does not treat caste as a stigma. That's what we were discussing. It just says that we need caste census data to know the actual reality, which particular caste is having, how much percentage, population in our country, and how we can cater to them. So third is also wrong. It's not a stigma. So the answer is B, 2 only, according to social management approach. Cool. And who said B? Shashmita said B, Kartika said B, Rishi has also stated B. B is the answer, Mamta. B. Now, I think this is the third article of the day today. India, US inch closer to limited data agreement. Now, there are certain words here which we have to keep in mind again. And mini deal. So, what is mini deal? So, mini deal means deals on certain issues or certain products for a limited period of time. That is the basic meaning of a term called mini deal. What is happening here? What is the basic gist of this whole article, which is there on page 1? So there is a tariff man, which we all know, who is called as tariff man. So tariff man was playing tariff game with India, with China, mainly with China, 150% tariff, 125% tariff. So again, they impose some tariff on our steel, aluminium. So this is one bone of contention. To address these sticky issues, Union Minister Piyush Goyal sir is meeting US Secretary of Commerce. You can see his name, it doesn't concern us. The issue concerns us. The issue is all this tariff game, which was played earlier by tariff man on steel, aluminium, they are trying to resolve that issue. Now, why US is playing this tariff game? because we have a trade surplus with US, that is one particular point which you have to keep in mind. We have a trade deficit with China. We have a trade surplus with US. US wants to minimize that trade surplus as much as possible. The second bone of contention, very good Shashmita, Trump. The second bone of contention is US wants access to India's agricultural market, or India's agriculture, so to say. And we are like, no, we cannot allow you access to India's agricultural market because that in a way will impoverish our farmers. So that is another bone of contention. They want access to our agricultural market. We are not ready to open that market for them. To address these issues, these people are meeting, they're having a talk. So this is the basics rationale. And then you can talk about the history of India-US relationship, how we never trusted them because they were closer to Pakistan. During Kargil war, they did not allow us to use their GPS. We did not like it. And you cannot trust them. During the Trump era, this whole thing has become very transactional in nature, this whole relationship. So trade deal timeline, this is what they're talking, that they want to do a mini deal. Mini deal means deal on smaller issues for a limited period of time. Cool, sir. Previous target, again, you can read the numbers. Indian Commerce Minister, these people, they went here and there, and they're talking about this mini deal. And tariff on steel and aluminium, this is India's concern that you have imposed a lot of tariff. 50% tariff is a big number. Please reduce this tariff. India protested the hike. Now, this is not the first time when India is going to WTO against US. There was one question which UPSC has already asked earlier. This is a PYQ related to domestic content requirement. Remember this particular word, domestic content requirement. This is a UPSC PYQ. What happened at that time? International Solar Alliance, India is a hub of solar energy. So even US companies, they wanted to come to India to tap this solar energy. India was like, you are welcome, US companies. But when you are coming to India and when you are setting up any factory, etc., plant, etc., solar plant, you have to buy raw materials from our companies, Indian companies. US was like, no, thank you. We'll bring our own raw materials, whatever we'll need for making our, solar panels, this and that. We don't need Indian companies' raw materials. And India was like, no, we will not allow you then. US went to WTO, US won that case. This was domestic content requirement issue. So remember these issues, they are very important because UPSC has asked. Cool. So this is the issue with us. We are not very happy with the tariff imposed on steel and aluminium by Trump and USA. USA's issue is India is not opening like agricultural market for them. So US wants greater access to India's agriculture market. India, we are saying that no, we have to protect our domestic vulnerable farmers. 86% of India's farmer, they are small and marginal. 86% according to agriculture census, small and marginal. Now this is your homework. If you know it, post it in the comment section. Definition of small farmer and marginal farmer. Who holds less than 1 hectare, less than 2 hectare. So our farming community is anyway very vulnerable. We cannot allow US access. Look at the other way, sir. Payable visa, YouTube earned more money, $80 to $5 billion of Americans. Cool. But how is this connected to this whole thing, Rishi? So current stated discussion on both sides are ongoing while progress has been made. Major disagreements on tariff and market access. So hope you understood. This article, what they talked about. India issue, tariff on steel and aluminium. US issue, India is not giving access to agriculture market. Just keep it in mind. Cool, sir. That was the basic fulcrum of this article. Now, in general, the basic India-US relationship, as we have talked about India-Canada. So, India-US relationship, as we have discussed, we never relied too much on them. Plus, we had a non-alignment policy. Later on, we became closer to Soviet Union. Those things were not liked by US. After 1991 LPG reforms, things opened up, things became better. LPG is what? Liquefied petroleum gas? No, it is not. It is liberalization, privatization, globalization. Very good. Strategic and political cooperation. Who is the world's largest democracy and which is world's oldest democracy? Any idea? Anyone? Now, again, this is from mains perspective. This whole thing and those points, what is India's concern, what is US concern, that you will write in India-US relationship. Pestle analysis, different dimension, political dimension, economic. So those were economic dimensions. This is the political dimension. India-US part of Quad, that is. And remember the countries, India, US, Japan and Australia, who are part of Quad. Joint military exercises, important from perspective. And again, if you're talking about from security perspective, you can use these things. So you have to divide your answer into different dimensions, sir and ma'am. India is oldest and largest. India is oldest? Is it the opposite? US has got independence long way back, right? So I think US is the oldest democracy. India is the largest because we have so large population. And that's why we are the largest. Do cross check, Sasmita. Cool. So remember these facts, you have to use it in pre as well as means. Economic and trade relationship, it's in favor of us. USA is not liking it. They want to minimize it, especially Trump. Investment, again, they're investing in tech and manufacturing, Indian companies, also H1B visa. Our Indian services sector is contributing a lot in US. Trade issues, tariff, intellectual property. Now, this is a very, very important issue. This you will read a lot in science and tech, intellectual property issue. So what is this intellectual property issue? There are different companies. There is one company, I think Novartis. Do check whether it's a US company or not. So they do something known as patents. Now, when you will read intellectual properties, you will read about different things: patent, trademark, copyright, all these things, and like GI tag, geographical indication. So trademark is given for different companies. Parle G has a unique trademark. Different companies will have unique trademark. Copyright is given for, let's say, A.R. Rahman music. Copyright is given for that. Patent is given for, let's say you have medicine. In medicines, you have something known as their raw materials, API, active pharmaceutical ingredients. So you're changing API, you're making new medicines, you will get patent on that. So Novartis, very big company, they get patent on different medicines. Now, like WTO, if I'm not wrong, they have allowed India compulsory licensing, and under TRIPS agreement, trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, under which what India does is, Novartis makes expensive medicines and then we make a generic version of it and transport it or export it to African countries. And this has become the whole intellectual property issue, which is not liked by USA. Trade, defense, security. Cool. So do understand this thing. This will come again and again. So technology and innovation, collaboration. Here you can read this. Do remember this, this is important. Compulsory licensing, TRIPS. What are these words? Indian diaspora, 4.5 million, 45 lakh Indian Americans are there. And I think we talked about how many people were there, Indian origin people they were there in Canada, at around 18 lakh. Cool. So education, US hosts a large number of Indian students. Energy, you can see here, you can read it. We have talked about the basic gist. Now, recent development, geopolitical convergence, challenges are trade disagreements, visa and immigration issues. Summary is, this whole thing is evolving and we have to go beyond transactional relationship, which we are having right now, to gain or to build more trust in our relationship. That is the basic criteria. Jan Aushadhi scheme. Cool. Domestic content requirement, Kargil thing we have discussed. During the Kargil period, they did not allow us to use, GPS global positioning system, and that's why we came up with our own IR and SS, Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System. But I don't think it's properly working right now, this IR and SS, but maybe soon. And during this period, Kargil period, Israel helped us. Israel even helped us during Operation Sindoor. So Israel is a good ally of us if you think it from ally perspective. Now let's talk about this particular question. MCQ 4, generic medicine. Very good, Shashmita. The term mini deal in the context of international trade refers to. What is a mini deal? This whole India-US article was related to mini deal. What is a mini deal? So Shashmita has given the answer, Kartika has given the answer. The term mini deal is short-term agreement covering limited sectors. That is the basic meaning of mini deal, which is happening between India and US. Cool, sir. The next article, recounting Welpur's story in ending child labor. Page number 8. Again, this is an editorial. Why we are reading about this? Because June 12 is observed as World Day Against Child Labor. And again, it is happening under ILO. Now, and this is, see, this is also important. There are some keywords here. SDG. So, SDG, 17 goals, 169 targets. 17 goals, 169 targets has to be achieved by 2030 maximum. 8.7, SDG 8.7 talks about, ending child labor by 2025, and we have not achieved that. But yes, we have to achieve it by at least by 2030. So here this sir, Ashok Kumar, who is a former IAS officer, he's talking about something very interesting, and he's giving an example of Velpur Mandal, Velpur Tehsil of Nizamabad district, which was in like early erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, now Telangana. So there they completely abolished this child labor, and how they do it, what they did here. So the things which are important from exam perspective is they can ask you, this Velpur model was, is a part of which particular state, what happened here, which SDG is involved when we talk about eliminating child labor. So these things are important from exam perspective. Cool, sir. So some facts. World Day Against Child Labor, 12th June. UPSC generally don't ask you these factual questions related to World Day Against Child Labor, but just keep it in mind. Then the second point, important point, SDG Target 8. Now, different SDGs, 17 SDGs are there. If you see this, this is very important. And you have to remember these SDGs. They are very important from most of these SDGs, if not all, will cover all your GS Mains paper syllabus. First SDG, no poverty, that is there in GS Mains paper 2. Hunger is also there in GS Mains paper 2. Good health and well-being, GS paper 2. Quality education, GS paper 2. Gender equality, GS Mains paper 1. Even GS Mains paper 2, vulnerable section. Now see, there is a relationship also when you are talking about these SDGs. 5 and 10. They both talk about inequalities. 5 is gender equality and 10 is reduced inequality. That's how also you can remember these SDG. In some exams, they have started asking these SDGs, directly. What does SDG 5 or 6 or 7 caters to? So 5 and 10, they both are about inequality. 5th is gender and the second is in general common inequality. School, clean water, sanitation, affordable. Now, clean water, sanitation, this is again related to environment, affordable and clean energy. GS paper 3. Decent work and economic growth. In GS Mains paper 3, you have inclusive growth. And under this SDG only, we are talking about abolishing child labor, And 9th, industry, innovation and infrastructure. If you go to your GS Mains paper 3 syllabus, you have this infrastructure syllabus in topic 9. Infrastructure, reduce inequality, GS Mains paper 2, vulnerable section 1 also. Sustainable cities and communities, GS paper 3, environment. Then you have responsible consumption and production. You can also keep it in environment. This is, and again, from 14 to 17, most of them are related to 14 to 12th is done. 13, 14, 15, these 3 are directly related to environment. 16 is peace and strong social justice, and you can read this, justice and strong institutions. And 17 is partnership for the goals. Please remember as many as possible, paste it on your wall and have a look at these SDGs. They are very important. You can use it as a, if they ask you about health, just quote SDG 3. That will make your answer better. Plus in pre, they can directly ask you SDGs. So SDG 8.7 about eliminating child labor. Cool, sir? Not cool. And then the different data. 1 in 10 children, they are involved in child labor. COVID-19 exacerbated because of school closures and all. Okay. Now, child labor in India, 43, more than 43 lakh children. That is a big number. Common sectors, BD making, you can read this. Now, different legislations, how they are important from exam perspective, they can ask you the CLPRA, that is Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. When was it passed? Yesterday or day before yesterday, we have talked about different acts, RTI, RTE, Right to Information, Right to Education, when were they passed first time. Then you have different amendments. And you can read it. National Policy on Child Labor, Right to Education Act. We have talked about it yesterday. Article 21A. Now, this is the model which they are talking about in this article. The Velpur model of Telangana. And what happened here? Local officials in June 2001, they began a 100-day campaign. They started sending kids to school. And they declared child labor free on October 2, 2001 only. And even now, 100% school retention and no child labor even 24 years later. So when you talk about how we can eliminate, because you will be a civil servant in future, they will ask you solution. That what is the solution for abolishing child labor? There you have to talk about this particular Velpur model, that we can adopt Velpur model. What they did, they sent and they found the people who were involved or the child who were involved, started sending them to school, influenced their family, influenced the people who were, the owners of these guys or who were employing these people, that let them go. We will not put you in jail because you have employed these child laborers, but if they have any debt on you, just forget about those debts and waive off those debts if you can. So all these things happened. Initially, obviously, there will be a resistance because we all want to maintain status quo. So there was rumors of child kidnapping, hostility. Then slowly and gradually, people started supporting it. Public campaign happened, and then villagers started erasing or erecting signs. There is no child labor in our village. So that actually helped. Cool, sir. Recognition. It has been appreciated by ILO, Abdul Kalam sir, and it was like even discussed in parliamentary standing committee. So that is actually a good way. And the person who wrote this particular article, he's a former IS officer, and he was posted in this Nizamabad district where this whole Velpur Mandal is there, and he led this 2001 campaign. So this is actually a good thing, and this is an example for you people also. Like they can ask you in an interview who you get inspired by. You can talk about this IS officer if you want to. You can talk about this Velpur model. Cool, sir. MCQ 5. Which of the following SDGs targets aims to end child labor in all its form by 2025? Shashmita and Kartika, they have given the answer. The answer is SDG 8.7. Awesome, yaar. MCQ 6. World Day Against Child Labor is observed every year on. World Day Against Child Labor. Very good, Mamta. World Day Against Child Labor is observed every year on. June 5, June 12, July 20, May 15. Very good, Rishi. This is a very easy question, right? Because we are doing it today. It will become tough when you're doing it some other day. Cool. Now, let's talk about the other article of the day. Page number 15, World Bank cuts India's fiscal year 26 growth forecast. Earlier, they forecasted 6.7%. Now they have reduced it to 6.3%. It's not, even now, even when they have reduced it, we are still one of the fastest growing economies in the world when it comes to major economies. They have trimmed down the growth forecast for global growth as well. Earlier it was around 2.7%. They have now reduced it to 2.3%. So all these are facts. Very good here, Rishi, myself, Karthik and others. So all these are facts which we have to keep in mind. Now, there are other things also which are important. As I think we were discussing in the previous lectures, the difference between World Bank and World Bank Group, they are not the same. World Bank, let's say they are consisting of IBRD and IDA, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Development Association. Then what is the difference between World Bank and World Bank Group? Although their headquarter is the same and they have been established by the same conference. So there are certain things which we need to know. So this is the whole thing. World Bank forecast revision, reduced India's GDP growth forecast. You can see the thing, and they are saying that the export and the investment growth is not that encouraging, and that's why we are reducing India's GDP growth forecast. Okay, and similar reduction they have talked about global growth forecast, which we have just discussed. Then what else? Now, one interesting and one important thing from exam perspective. This is a PYQ. UPSC has already asked. All these things, they have given it in their Global Economic Prospect Report. This is a UPSC PYQ. UPSC has already asked about Global Economic Prospect Report. Who publishes Global Economic Prospect? So please remember it. Comparison. And again, RBI is talking about 6.5% growth rate. Now World Bank is talking about 6%, 6.3% growth rate, a little lower than RBI forecast. And as we have discussed earlier, even though they have trimmed down the growth forecast, even now we are one of the fastest growing economy when it comes to major economies. Cool, sir. And then the important point, World Bank and World Bank Group are not same. World Bank Group, 5 organizations including World Bank, and World Bank is 2 organizations, IBRD and IDA. What is the basic aim of World Bank? When you will see, you have to understand the difference between World Bank and World Bank Group. So World Bank is more or less about giving public support. But in World Bank Group, you will see three different organizations which also offer support to private entities. You will understand what I'm saying. So World Bank, loan and grants to governments of low and middle income countries. Founded Bretton Woods Conference, it happened in US. IMF was also formed in the same conference. Remember, these are important facts from exam perspective. And headquarter is in Washington DC, USA. Again, you can read the things because you can understand here, because they are providing loan and grants to low and middle income countries. Obviously, the aims will be to reduce global poverty, promote shared prosperity, and when you're reading these things, that's how you do revision. When you read this poverty, remember and try to think which SDG was related to poverty, and that's how you can revise stuff. So main institution, World Bank, IBRD, IDA, which we are continuously talking about, they are part of World Bank. In World Bank Group, there will be three more institutions along with these two institutions. IBRD, and you can see lends to middle income and credit worthy low income countries. International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. International Development Association, interest free loan and grants to poorest countries. All these two organizations, they are giving loan to public entities, government entities. But you will see in the case of World Bank Group, the three other organizations, they'll be lending to private entities as well. Very good, Shashmita, SDG 1. So World Bank Group, umbrella organization, which includes World Bank. So IBRD, IDA is there. Along with that, IFC, MEGA and ICSID are there. And you can see here, IFC support private sector. You have to understand the difference. Sometimes they can give you this basic, differentiate between World Bank and World Bank Group. So you have to write a mains answer plus important from pre-perspective as well. MEGA provides political risk insurance to investors and lenders. Again, private sector handles international investment disputes. And you can see here, it's all public and both public and private. So if we have to summarize the difference between World Bank and World Bank Group, you can see here, World Bank, two institutions, World Bank Group, these two institutions plus three more institutions, MEGA, ICSID and IFC. Public sector development, World Bank, both public and private, World Bank Group, narrower term and broader term. So remember this is important from exam perspective. PYQ 7, this is a PYQ already asked by UPSC. So Shashmita has given the answer, Rishi and Mamta. So the answer is World Bank. Global Economic Prospect, World Bank. We have just read it. Now, page number 14. India unlikely to ratify High Seas Treaty at UN Ocean Conference. Now, there are different words here which we need to understand. High Seas Treaty, which is also known as biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. There are certain words which we need to know. What is high sea? So high sea means like you have oceans and there are certain areas of oceans which is beyond any national jurisdiction. That is not part of any country, as you say exclusive economic zone you have. Beyond exclusive economic zone there is a water, there is a portion of ocean water which does not belong to any country. That is known as high sea. Now India has initially signed this high sea treaty, which is also known as, please remember, BBNJ, that is beyond biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. India has initially signed it, but they have not yet ratified it because we need to change something in some of our acts, and we are not very comfortable with it yet. So it seems like we will not ratify it. Currently, around 49 countries of the world, they have ratified it. This high seas treaty, oh my god. And it requires, this particular treaty, High Seas Treaty, it requires ratification by 60 countries. So they still need 11 countries to become operative. Once they become operative, it will be binding on people, so, and entities and governments. So let's see what happens and how it pans out. But there are certain words in this article which are important from exam perspective. Like, have you heard about Samudrayan? Anybody? What is Samudrayan? See this. India is unlikely to ratify. BBNJ and High Seas Treaty are same. High Seas we have just discussed. Ocean water which does not belong to any country. And this whole thing is happening in, like, this whole BBNJ High Sea Treaty will be happening under UN clause. UN clause. United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea. So remember the status of the treaty. India signed it, did not ratify it. Ratification is needed. But they are saying, UN clause is saying you have to amend some Biological Diversity Act. Why? Because they're talking about sharing of resources, equitable sharing of resources. Let's say they find some very rare mineral, explore Indian Ocean, Kul Latika. So they found some polymetallic nodules, etc., etc. They are talking about sharing these resources equitably, etc., etc. We are not very comfortable with that. They are telling us to amend our Biological Diversity Act. We are not very comfortable with that. So many people believe that maybe we will not sign this High Sea Treaty. So treaty ratification worldwide, as we have discussed, 49 countries, they have signed it, they have ratified it, but it needs 60 countries ratification, 11 more countries to go before it becomes legally binding on everyone. So India's official statement, they are saying that we will ratify, we are in the process. So that is stated by countries when they are not in the process of ratifying, when they are thinking about it. So contentious issues, equitable sharing of resources in high seas. That is what we are discussing. High sea, which is beyond national jurisdiction of respective countries. If there are some resources which comes out of it, how this equitable sharing will be happening? Countries are skeptical about it, including India. While extraction from these areas still difficult, there are no clear mechanism yet for sharing potential economic benefit. How this thing will pan out, people are confused, entities are confused, countries are confused, including India. India first deep search manned mission. Very good, Shashmita. Oh, that's what you were saying. Rishi is also saying Samudrayan. So here, when this whole high sea treaty was going on, Dr. Singh spoke about Samudrayan, as you people are telling me, Samudrayan, India's manned submersible mission targeting a 6,000 meter dive. So Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, now Samudrayan. We have talked about ban on single-use plastic. So we were telling our achievements, just like other countries were doing theirs or telling theirs. So India reiterated support for a legally binding global plastic treaty. It has to be eliminated. So now High Sea Treaty, we have talked about it. Now there are things which are important. This is a legally binding international agreement. If 60 countries ratify it, it will be binding on all. So including India. So that is a very interesting thing. And under UN clause, we have discussed it. We have discussed the most important point here is what is the meaning of high sea? We have talked about it. High sea, which does not belong to any country, as you state, exclusive economic zone, part of a particular country. High sea does not belong to any particular country. The water. That is what is written here. High sea lies outside any single country's control beyond EEZ. And they have ecosystem, marine life. There is so much there. It is said that, and it's very scary. Many people believe that we don't know our ocean much. We want to go to space and do this and that. People say if we start exploring our ocean, that will be much more mesmerizing and sometimes maybe horrifying as well. So we want to go into those icy area which has unique ecosystem, untapped, many still undiscovered. God knows what is beyond these waters. So yeah, it's terrifying actually. Okay, so you can read all these things. This is a good treaty because no such treaty was existing earlier. Benefit will be marine protected areas. If there is some vulnerable region, let's say we have to protect some phytoplanktons, we'll do that. Environmental impact assessment, explicitly stated in your GS Mains Paper 3 syllabus, that proposed impact of a developmental project. Same way, if you're doing certain things in these high sea territory, what will be the impact? Equitable sharing, we have discussed. India has issues to this equitable sharing. Many countries have issues to it. Capacity, again, you can read this. Current status, again now this is a repetition which is happening. When was it adopted? March 2023. Current status, 49 countries ratified. India signed it, did not ratify it. And yeah. MCQ 8. Solve this question. With reference to High Sea Treaty, Okay, so Shashmita, Rishi has given the answer. Now, let's talk about it. High Sea Treaty is legally binding treaty under the UN clause. Let's say you are confused. It deals with marine biodiversity conservation in areas within the EEZ of countries. This is the point, this is the tricky point we have discussed. It is talking about marine diversity conservation in high sea region. High sea is area beyond EEZ, which is not under any national jurisdiction. This exclusive economic zone is under the jurisdiction of respective countries. So beyond this EEZ is the high sea area, and they are talking about marine biodiversity conservation in those regions. Just eliminate second option. You are getting the answer, that is A. I think Rishi stated it first, then Kartika, and then Shashmita. Awesome, yeah. Good question actually. Then there are some other articles which is there on page 14, polluting plant in eco-sensitive zone in Uttarkashi. So again, these kind of, I made a video on YouTube, you can search it, why Siang River in news. So these, like this whole solid waste treatment plant in Uttarkashi, Uttarakhand, that will again remind you of something which you will keep on reading. Economic development versus environmental conservation. Many people believe that they lie at the opposite end of the spectrum, but they do meet at a midpoint, and that midpoint is known as sustainable development. Again, there is another talk related to environmental impact assessment, that when such solid waste treatment plant is being made in Uttarkashi district, they should have done the proper EIA, environmental impact assessment. No issues. Why? Sorry, you stated the correct answer, Rishi. So they should have done the proper environmental impact assessment. So all these things are going on here, and that's why this Uttarkashi region is in news. And this whole solid waste treatment plant was set up under Prashad scheme, pilgrimage, rejuvenation, and spiritual augmentation drive. We'll talk about these schemes later on. It's not like, Hindu analysis will end today. If we start, there will be certain things which we'll do in the next subsequent lectures. Just I'm telling you the basic meaning here, and this is in news. Uttarkashi is in news because of this whole economic development versus environmental conservation debate. Cool, sir? Not cool, but hope you can understand. Then on page 14 only, you have this particular issue. Indian Army contingent in Mongolia for conquest. Now, remember this word. They can ask you, conquest is a military exercise between which countries? So India, Mongolia, India, US, Mongolia. So you have to remember. See here, this is an annual exercise initiated in 2003 between US and Mongolia. Now it has evolved and it has become a multinational endeavor. India is also a part of it, and Indian Army contingent is in Ulaanbaatar. So this is again a simple pre-related information which you have to keep in mind. You don't have to do PhD here in this whole conquest and everything. Just a basic information. Cool, sir. So that's it for today. I will share this particular PDF along with the answer and everything in this Telegram channel of mine, Fun Study with Shubh. You can join it. And any queries, any doubts, now you can ask it in the comment section. Anything related, like yesterday pre-result was declared. I made a video on that. Also post your score. We have done 8 questions today. Whatever is your score, post it in the comment section. Also, if you are planning or you're preparing for 2026 and you are a serious aspirant and you want to join our batch, you can join our evening batch. Admissions are closing on 15th June 2025. You can use my code SHS Live to get maximum discount. Let me show you. As I stated, some of the people who are watching me from last 3 days, they know how this whole thing pans out. But let's say you are seeing me for the first time, and in the meantime, if you have any queries, you can post it in the comment section. Let's take your queries as well. This is the basic purpose of live session. So if you want to join our course and if you are facing some issues, I did not started this purchase. You can go to StudyIQ. Oh my God, my voice is gone. You will go to, and if you go downwards, am I in the same, what happened here? Just explore courses. Yes, now we are on the right portal. So if you go to explore courses, so you go to English batch here, UPSC IS English. You will go here to this particular, this is the batch we are talking about, the evening batch. And I think the net is, page could not be displayed. It should be getting displayed. Yes, it is getting displayed now. And if you buy it now, and there will be a promo code thing which you can see. 7/8 Shashmita has got. Cool, sir. Thanks a million. Welcome, Rishi. Now, if you add my promo code, you will get, and let me see how much discount you will get. So the prices, you can see the prices are increasing actually. 35,999, 30,999, 20,999. If I apply my SHS code, this is before I apply my code. Once I apply my code, these things have reduced 28,999, 28,999. So 7,000 discount you are getting. So you can, and if you have any friends, siblings who need proper guidance, if you feel like you are lagging somewhere, you need one-on-one mentorship, you are not confident in certain areas, certain subjects, you can join this course. And if you top our monthly quiz, you'll get 11,000 reward, complete fee refund if you clear UPSC pre 2026. This is P2I prelims to interview. So interview guidance program is included here. Prelims and mains residential program is included here. Yesterday I got a message from some person, like he cleared pre. He was a part of a StudyIQ program. That program, lapsed in January, and he wants to become a part of mains residential program. I will show you his message maybe tomorrow. So yes, and I was like, will that happen or not? The people are like, yes, that can happen. So this is actually good. Residential program are very good. Let's say you clear pre, you become a part of mains residential program. You are with those people who are actually writing mains. And it is said you become the average of 5 people you surround yourself with. So your environment actually helps a lot. So you can join this course if you feel like it, and if you feel like you need some guidance. So, thank you everyone. I don't think you people have any doubt right now. So I will see you people tomorrow then. ठीक है? So that's it from me. Take care. Be blessed. Tata. Bye bye.